Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita as it is. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the introduction, page number 13. Bhagavad Gita as it is. People with less intelligence consider the supreme truth to be impersonal. But he is a transcendental person, and this is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. As we are all individual living beings and have our individuality, the supreme absolute truth is also in the ultimate issue a person, and realization of the personality of Godhead is realization of all the transcendental features in his complete form. The complete whole is not formless. If he is formless, or if he is less than any other thing, then he cannot be the complete whole. The complete whole must have everything within our experience and beyond our experience, otherwise it cannot be complete. The complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies. Parashya Shaktir Vividhaiva Shruyate. How Krishna is acting in different potencies is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. This phenomenal world or material world in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation, according to Sankhya philosophy, are completely adjusted to produce complete resources which are necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. There is nothing extraneous, nor is there anything needed. This manifestation has its own time fixed by the energy of the Supreme Whole. And when its time is complete, these temporary manifestations will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. There is complete facility for the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, and all sorts of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete. So Bhagavad Gita contains the complete knowledge of Vedic wisdom. All Vedic knowledge is infallible, and Hindus accept Vedic knowledge to be complete and infallible. For example, cow dung is the stool of an animal, and according to Smriti or Vedic injunction, if one touches the stool of an animal, he has to take a bath to purify himself. But in the Vedic scriptures, cow dung is considered to be a purifying agent. One might consider this to be contradictory, but it is accepted because it's Vedic injunction. And indeed, by accepting this, one will not commit a mistake. Subsequently, it has been proven by modern science that cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. So Vedic knowledge is complete because it is above all doubts and mistakes, and Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. So that was page number 13, the introduction to Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Now we move on to the verse number 26. We are on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, chapter number 1, observing the armies. So Arjuna had his chariot placed in midst of both the armies, and he's observing the armies. He's observing the enemy side. And what does he see? Tatra pashyat stitan partha pitrin atha pitamahan Acharyan Matulan Bhratran Putran Pautran Sakhinstata Shwashuran Suhrudaschaiva Senayorubhayorapi. There Arjuna could see, within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. On the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurishrava, who were his father's contemporary, grandfathers Bhishma and Somadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni, brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwathama, well-wishers like Krutvarma, etc. He could also see the armies which contained many of his friends. Verse number 27. तान् समीक्ष्यस्य कौन्तेय सर्वान् बान्धून् अवस्थितान् कृपया पराय विष्टो विषीदन्निदमब्रवीत्. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and thus spoke. Arjuna Vacha दृष्ट्वेमां स्वजनं कृष्णा युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods. Whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualification, by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as the soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death, and while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it is not mentioned here, one can still easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but because of his soft heartedness, a characteristic of the pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarve gunaistatra samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato bahi. Quote, one who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigod. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualification, and that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Unquote. Bhagavatam 5th canto, 18th chapter, verse number 12. So we can stop at that for today. So we covered verse number 26, 27, and 28. And here we see that the chariot is in midst of both the armies, and Arjuna, on seeing that on the opposite side, they are not enemies, they are his own family, his own kinsmen, his teachers, his uncles, his friends, cousins, grandfathers, everybody whom he loved. They were all at the enemy side, and he had to fight with them. Now, he was greatly affected by his this, and he says, "My mouth is drying up, and my limbs of my body are shaking, shivering." Now, one may imagine that this is out of, the same symptoms can happen to the body when a person is under fear, great fear. The mouth dries up and the hands start shaking. But in Arjuna's case, Arjuna was a pure devotee of the Lord. And a pure devotee of the Lord, it is said that develops qualities like the God himself or the demigods. He gets Devi Guna, you know. So a pure devotee of the Lord becomes very godly himself, and therefore his heart is very soft. He feels compassion for everybody, the entire universe. He feels compassion. It is natural to expect that one feels compassion for one's own side and one is full of hatred and anger for the enemy. That is the natural, normal perception. But again, the devotee of the Lord is never normal. He's not like a normal person, he is a much more advanced. So, because Arjuna was a pure devotee of the Lord, his heart was full of compassion and his heart was soft. So he, looking at the enemy soldiers, he was filled with compassion that he knew that everybody had to die. And he felt compassion for the enemy's soldiers. And when he looked at the enemy's, the great warriors, Bhishma, Deva, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, they were all very dear to him, and he could not bring himself to fight against them, to kill them. So Arjuna is having a kind of what we call today as a nervous breakdown, overwhelmed with emotion. Now it's interesting to note that if you remember, Lord has different incarnations. One of the incarnation of the Lord was Nara Narayana, where the Lord incarnated as twin brothers. The Lord Sri Krishna was Narayana, and Nara was Arjuna himself. So Arjuna is an eternal associate of the Lord, and no way Arjuna is under the influence of Maya or the material mode. So, what happened here? Why is Arjuna behaving like a normal person who gets overwhelmed by emotion at the thought of fighting his enemies, who are his own family? What happened here really is that Krishna put Arjuna into delusion, momentarily delusion. And why did he do so? He did so that um, Lord Krishna can transmit this precious message of Gita through Arjuna. So Arjuna is made as a medium for transmitting the message of Gita. Not that Arjuna was really overwhelmed, but Lord put the delusion into Arjuna's heart temporarily so that Arjuna feels that great sorrow and confusion and the feelings that he was feeling on seeing the enemy side, and oh my god, these are all my people, how can I fight with them? So that kind of delusion was put into Arjuna by Krishna so that Bhagavad Gita can be spoken, so that we the fallen souls of Kali Yuga have this precious um knowledge in our hands. So somebody had to be made a medium to transmit this precious knowledge. So Arjuna was made the medium. Lord always uses his pure devotees to accomplish these kind of services. Now this message had to be relayed to the public, to the people of all yugas. This was spoken in which yuga? It was spoken in the Dwapar Yuga. And we are in Kali Yuga, and we still have the fortune of having Bhagavad Gita. So Lord used Arjuna as a medium. So Arjuna was put into delusion, and seeing all the people, Arjuna said, "No way, I cannot fight with them. They're like my own family. They're my own family." So let's see what happens next. In the next few verses, Arjuna tries to give different arguments why he cannot fight with his own family. So we will see that in the next video. I hope you've understood something and you benefited from this video. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up and feel free to share with your friends and family. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Um, and Bhagavad Gita as it is. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. See you next time. Hare Krishna.